indeed. We are sinking our teeth into the noblest. Well, a matchup that has potential to be the noblest in StarCraft 2, but also has the potential to be the most ape-like and most dirty as well. But regardless, we're going to be jumping into our first TVZ of the evening. It's going to be kicking off on Amphion. We're here in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left. We, of course, have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He, of course, is going to be representing his team, Talon Esports, here in the best of 3 semifinals. We have, going pool first, Dark.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Amphion, we have our Chinese Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Weibo Gaming. It is Oliveira. And if you are in the chat, then consider getting your Gamba going, because predictions are open. Predictions are now open in the chat. You can place your bets on who you think will take the series. Will it be our Zerg or our Terran? Best of luck.
Yeah, Gamba those grapes, as we say. Get your Gamba going.
Get your Gamba going indeed. As you mentioned, Dark did open up with a pool first, and we're investing quite hard into this. There are different variations of pool first. You can make 2 links, 4 links, or 6, and we're going for the full 6 links. The goal here is to get across the map and to delay the CZ.
Yeah, link team 6, if you will. As they start making their way across the map, like you said, priority numero uno here for Dark is to just chip away at that SCV that's building the CC, try to get it down, try to take it out, and delay the expansion of Oliveira. We shouldn't be seeing speed just yet, although Dark hasn't pulled out a gas, so...
Yeah, this should just be for link speed. We'll see if we invest into a Roach Warren. It's always viable to throw down an early Roach Warren, but we would have seen it by now as the links do get across the map. Meanwhile, Oliveira did open up Marine, not Reaper, so we do have our Marines here on the low ground. Can we kite well? Do we get surrounded? Up!
Good kiting so far coming out from Oliveira. This does seem like a bit of an overreaction, though, to pull this many SCVs, but if he is able to get his CC up and running, then I think it should be worth it.
Yeah, there we go. He does pull away some SCVs to go back to mining. So far, the surround is denied, just barely. Very nice control here out of Oliveira. He keeps his Marine alive. He's not forced to delay his CC, and Oliveira has defended at the same time. Dark is forced back, and Oliveira gets away with his opener. Settles back, settles down.
Yeah, the plan has not worked out so far for Dark, so he's going to be on the back foot for quite some time. He has to focus a lot on droning to get back on equal footing. He has to get that third, as you see, but we'll see if he actually saturates that. Well, actually, he should. Yeah, he's not taking the triangle third, so.
Yeah, Dark, he's running up quite hard here. What's scary is that the third base for Dark is in line with the third base of Oliveira. That's how late the third is from the Zerg player, just because of the aggressive opener. So, as you mentioned, Dark has a bit of catching up to do, and things are looking a little bit nicer here for Oliveira. I mean, he was forced to deny some mining time because of his pooled SCVs, so there was some inverted damage, but overall, Oliveira is settling down, and we are actually prioritizing Stim. It's on the way already.
Very aggressive coming out from Oliveira, as we kind of expect from him. Yeah, again, he has, I would say he has kind of refined that aggressive TVZ style. He is, I think, one of the only Terran players out there who can really go 8 racks and just really take it to Serral and take maps off of him that way.
Yeah, to take him to task. I mean, what's scary here about this build is it's a 3cc kind of 3 racks variation here with 2 more racks on the way. Stim is going to finish up quite quickly. We're getting into our 1-1 upgrades as well. There's going to be quite an interesting Stim timing. I believe Oliveira won't be pushing yet. Usually we don't move out until we have medevacs, but medevac production has been delayed quite a bit here in favor of upgrades and in favor of our army.
Yeah, we should be seeing an add-on switch here, unless Oliveira decides to just go with vanilla Widow Mines. There we go. Oh, but not. That add-on switch is actually for the racks.
Yeah. Yeah, again, like a big prioritization of bio, so we're massing up Marines as we speak. We will eventually hit a timing with these 2 medevacs once we go for the add-on swap with the starport. Until then, Oliveira is only being active with these Hellions. Meanwhile, Dark back at home is building up and working towards a Baneling Nest, not a Roach Warren, so it's going to be Ling Bane from Dark.
Yeah, and that's gonna serve him pretty well here as we get into a mid game because, like as you pointed out, Oliveira is making a massive bio ball. He's making pretty much nothing but Marines. So pretty soon he's gonna have medevacs, but because of how this build, how he set up this build, using the factory for add-on swaps rather than for units, he's not gonna have much of an anchor to fall back on. So Banelings are gonna do such a good job of zoning away the bio, or best case scenario, even connecting with the bio.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see what kind of setup Dark is going to have. Right now, it's so important that he sets up his creep. Like, we need a creep thread as much as possible here to get ready for the eventual aggression of Oliveira. Meanwhile, Oliveira Chambers are finishing up for 1-1. Oliveira does have the upgrade advantage, but Dark, he's not too far behind with set upgrades as he's working towards them. As a heads up, Dark did delay his Evo Chambers in favor of the Baneling Nest, the lair timing, and Baneling speed. So these upgrades are a little bit later. This was a safer build out of Dark, and that does mean that he's going to be, again, a little bit behind in those upgrades.
Yeah, a little bit behind, but alive enough to keep this going. I think the tumor might have caught the wind of the double drop, and well, if it didn't earlier, it definitely does now.
Yeah, as we do confirm, tumor goes down. We deny the creep. Ooh, 1 Marine is saved. Oliveira, he cares for his boys. He does pull back, dropping into the main base as a support in position. Queens are rotating over, and we should have enough yet to deflect the initial push. But remember, Oliveira is still building up towards his 1-1 timing. Meanwhile, Dark, I mean, we are on Amphion. We're going Ling Bane Muta.
Oh, I like this. Kind of a good way of knocking the wind out of Oliveira's drop-heavy style here.
Potentially. 1 medevac already going down. We do stim on 40. We get 1 queen. We almost get a second, but Lings, they come in to reinforce, and we get a second queen, a third queen. We will clean this up.
Yeah, but 2 medevacs for 3 queens, it has potential to be worth it. Looking at this second drop coming in, the second push coming in, Widow Mines have now been set up. We do get one decent connection, but another one only connecting with 1 Ling.
Yeah, as you mentioned, like, losing that double drop was a pretty big loss from Oliveira. We can see that Dark is replacing some of those queens. We'll be able to maintain his air control. Meanwhile, we did deny a base, and the drop is still being active here on the right-hand side. Oliveira, he's keeping up. He's able to keep Dark busy while building up at home. But I believe Oliveira has not scouted the tech. He has no idea that the mutas are on the way.
That he does not. I mean, he's setting up pretty well against mutas. He is getting Widow Mines, but Dark also has the option to just never fight the army with the Mutalisk. Right, Mutalisk in this scenario, main priority is to pick off the medevacs while they have units inside of them, or alternatively, go around for a surprise harass.
Exactly. We'll see how if we can shut these medevacs down as the mutas they have arrived. And as you mentioned, they're going straight for the medevac, straight for the drop play, and we will shut down the aggression of Oliveira.
Yeah, this drop is pretty much forfeit. I mean, Oliveira's still gonna try to get some damage with the rest of his units, but he has given up on that drop. He's now focusing on the secondary push. Good Widow Mine connections, but not good enough by the looks of things!
Not bad. Some decent Widow Mine shots here from Oliveira. He continues to rally on 4. The mutas have arrived. Mine shots not yet burrowing. We're getting on top of the army.
Yeah, decent Baneling connection, but it is only 1 Baneling connection. There's still bio, there is still a Terran force behind this push. Tank did finish up as well, so there's a bit more of a solid backbone behind this army.
Yeah, hyper aggression here out of Oliveira, pushing on forward. Now, he is not A-Raxing, he's only got 5 Raxes, he's expanding, taking a 4th base, so Oliveira is going for a more macro-oriented approach. The hatchery does go down, and Darky's had enough. He's going for a big counterattack across the map with those mutas. Widow Mines are set up, but we do avoid them.
Yeah, for now. We do have missile turrets as well. Dark going to be avoiding them. Not quite able to get any economic damage as a result.
Yeah, so far not, but he does find a gas geyser. Meanwhile, Oliveira is still being active. Ling Bane is going to be rallying on forward. We do catch the army!
Oh, that tank does go down. Takes out a couple of Banelings, but yeah, I don't think that was quite worth it here for Oliveira.
And not quite worth it, as finally the mutas are getting damage done. The mineral line is exposed. We got 6, 7, 8, 9 SCVs. Very nicely done here by
10.
Dark. Finally, we do deal some damage to the economy of Oliveira.
Like so. I mean, Dark has been bleeding quite a bit as well, though. He just got another hatchery denied or delayed. I think it was cancelled. Yeah, it was cancelled.
Yeah, that's a very important point, is that Dark, he's been trying to expand and take a 4th base. He's been denied time and time again. Dark, this entire time has been on 3 bases. Dark, he's in trouble.
Yeah, a lot of trouble economically as we look at the income, as we look at the banks. It's continuing to favor Oliveira more and more. Dark cannot afford to throw away banelings like this. He needs to be very careful and a lot more conservative with his army.
Yeah, as the mutas, they do nothing across the map. Oliveira, he's pushing on forward once again, looking to knock down the 4th base. That's been the win condition for Oliveira this entire game, is deny the 4th over and over and over again. Ling Bane is going to be rolling on forward, but it's not going to be enough. GG gets called, and Oliveira takes game number 1.
Whew. GG. GG, nicely done from Oliveira, just once again showing off his signature aggression. As you pointed out, not quite an 8 racks, not quite a, build 3 bases or if you want to go for the brick variant, as I call it, build 4 bases, but only stay on 6 gas, and then just max out as quickly as possible. But yeah, still very active, still did a fantastic job of picking Dark apart with those double drops, and he was doing well enough in the early game that by the time the Mutalist came out, he already had enough of an economy, he already had enough of a force that he could just continuously pummel that 4th base over and over and over again.
Yeah, it's one of those things where the mutas did mean an end to the drop play, but like as soon as the mutas were revealed, then we just started going for committed pushes. Then we just started just rallying across with Widow Mines, with our Marines, with these more aggressive stances. And again, like I hadn't noticed it until you pointed it out that in these pushes, they were getting a lot done. They weren't really killing many workers, but they were killing bases. Time and time again, I just assumed that Dark had a 4th, but no, his 4th was denied over and over and over again. He just was unable to maintain his own production, his own economy, and eventually he was overwhelmed.
Yeah, it was overwhelmed, which is something we normally expect from Zerg in a ZvT, but Oliveira flipping their dynamic once again. But that was game number 1. And now we're going to be loading into game number 2 of our best of 3 semifinals, where we're here in the top left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the top left. We, of course, have our red Zerg player coming down from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Talon Esports. Give it up for Papa Dark.
And spawning
Big Papa Dark.
He is. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the Chinese Terran player, the Blue Terran, representing Weibo Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Oliveira.
Never forget, way back in, I think, 2019, in the Road to BlizzCon series that Team Liquid used to put out fairly often. Obviously, now we don't have BlizzCon as a tournament anymore, so yeah, we don't really have Road to BlizzCon anymore, but I'll never forget Wax Angel writing the tagline for Dark going into that. Big Dark energy.
He does have some big dark energy, and this time is approaching this in a much more standard fashion, which I don't blame him. As a reminder, in game 1, Dark did open up pool first, and it did kind of set him behind a little bit, just because it did not get the damage he was hoping for. So we respect Oliveira, we go for a standard opener instead. We're not going for any kind of crazy early lane harass, we're calming things down.
Yeah, calming things very much down here on Site Delta. I mean, Amphion, it's a little bit of a quirky map. It's a map that has its quirks. It's a map that's, if I were to describe it, if I were to say, personify Amphion, I would say quirky.
Okay.
It's a unique map that lends itself very well into Mutas, and despite Muta play coming back quite a bit in general, I do feel like Amphion and Post-Youth are probably the 2 best maps for it. In the current map pool.
Oh yeah. As we are
maybe Crimson Court, but
as we are going to be settling in, and we do have our initial Reaper going to be dancing with the Lings, going to be forcing Dark back, just maintaining control here, as likewise Dark is able to keep up, maintain his Lings, his drones, and take a 3rd.
Like so. On the other hand, from Oliveira, I don't expect him to switch things up too much. I say that as he's actually going for a 3cc before starport this time, so much more economic, much less aggressive coming out from him.
Oh, here we go. So yeah, it is going to be that 3cc build here from Oliveira. At least initially, we'll keep an eye on when and where the third Rax gets thrown down. And there it is. We do have a second Rax on the way. So once again, this is actually a very similar build to the previous game. We also saw a really fast third CC, and we also delay the starport.
Yeah. Yeah, that's... Huh. Yeah, that's an interesting new variant coming out here in TBZ recently.
Yeah, like I'm used... Go on.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, it sets you up very well for a very aggressive push, but at the same time, also allows you to macro behind that.
Yeah, there's a bit of a
It's
given...
not too committed one way or the other, but... So.
Yeah, there's a bit of a give and take. This build from Oliveira reminds me a lot of 3cc 2-on-1. This isn't quite the same because the factory's a little earlier, but basically we have some map control with Hellions, but not too much, right? That's the downside, is that we only have 4 Hellions. Only 4 Hellions to work with, so Dark can get away with more greed. He can't be punished as much from Oliveira early on. Oliveira's kind of spike in power comes a little bit later, and this is 3cc 2-on-1. There we go. That's why it looks like it.
Funny how that works, yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Why does it look that way? Why does it look like that build, you know?
As a reminder, last game...
It is.
Yeah. If you remember last game,
last
we
game
went...
was a 3-1-1.
Yes. Last game it was third Rax first, but this time just straight up 3cc 2-on-1 , so yeah, Oliveira's mixing it up.
Yeah, mixing it up quite a bit. Still a little bit dedicated to Hellions. He's actually making a 5th one behind all of this, and I have to imagine that... Well, I was going to say, I have to imagine the reason behind this is to turn them into Hellbats, which, I mean, is still in play. I mean, he's getting an earlier armory, but usually when I see a 2-on-1 like this and I see Hellions come out, I imagine it's to protect tanks.
I mean, you watched a lot of Cure. You've seen a lot of Cure,
I have watched a lot of Cure. I've seen a lot of Cure. I've tried to emulate a lot of Cure's play. It hasn't worked out well for me, usually.
But as you brought it up, it is going to be a Hellbat push variation. The armory is done. Hellbats are on the way. And are we ready for this? Checking our unit production here. We have Lings, we have Queens, we have Roaches on the way. They just now started, but we don't have any Banelings until the Roaches come out. We can't get damage done.
Yeah, we can get a lot of damage done. These Queens, however, they do have a lot of energy on them, so if Dark is able to force aggro on top of his Queens, he can tank a couple of shots. 1 Hellbat goes down, but 4 more are still in play, and the Marines are still very much up and running. They are starting to thin out, and now the Roaches do get up and running. That's going to be by the end of this harass. I think Dark actually just killed his own tumor.
Yeah, Dark, he's barely holding on here. Does force the pickup. Also, very nice target firing out of Dark. I don't know if you noticed, but he was actually intentionally focusing down individual Marines with his Queens every single time. He was ignoring the Hellbats, going for the Queens instead. We drop into the mineral line!
You drop into the mineral line. A little bit of a suicide mission here for these Hellbats. They will go down, but they take out 6 drones with them.
6 workers do fall. Dark does hold at a cost. It did cost him quickly looking at the unit tab. 6 Queens, 6 drones, and of course some Lings as well. But that could have been so much worse. That could be the end of the game as we're going back in. We do at least threaten a drop, threaten a die.
I'm getting some serious deja vu to a year to... I'm getting some serious deja vu to a year before I started following StarCraft 2, 2013. Heart of Swarm came out, Hellbat drops, Innovation, Innovation and Teja, I think, were the 2 who really... More so Innovation, but Teja also was dedicated to Hellbat drops quite a bit.
You're like, this looks like something that I didn't see. True.
I'm getting nostalgia to a decade before I was born. I miss the 70s. I wasn't alive at the time, but I miss them.
It's been a while. We don't often see Hellbat drops quite like that. Some nice damage dealt there by Oliveira. Meanwhile, back at home, he's setting up to receive the eventual push. Tanks are getting within position here. Bio as well. Bunkers are on the way. But here comes Dark. Dark cutting workers at 3 bases. 64 drones, that's all he has at 3 base saturation. And we're committed.
We are committed indeed. Oliveira doesn't quite have his defenses up and running. Bunker goes down, only 2 tanks, and yeah, Dark is just gonna flank them and come in with a full sandwich on top of this marine bio.
Yeah, the bunker's not done in time. We do focus on some of these flanking Ravagers, but 17 SCVs going down. Dark, he has crushed the third base. He has crushed the economy, punishing the initial Hellbat push. And now with this Dark, he has control of the third. We have a bio army that's standing strong, but alas, it's barely standing. We're getting on top of the tank.
Yeah, we are. Biles will land, and that's all she wrote. GG is called. Dark. Gonna be fighting back, tying up our series sideways 1-1.
GG, well played. We are going to the ace match. We're going all the way here to game number 3. Again, it was a very interesting build out of Oliveira, going for a 3cc 2-1 Hellbat push. Alas, it did not do enough, or I should emphasize, it wasn't the fact that it didn't do enough damage, but Dark had already happened to be going into Roach production, so after his defense, it just seamlessly led into a Roach counterattack, as Dark doubled down quite hard with that.
Yeah, it flowed very well. Nice to see Dark showing off that Roach style that I think he kind of built a reputation around quite a bit, at least in early Legacy of the Void.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah, it did peter out there, and now we're going to be settling into the ace match. At the same time, it looks like the lower semifinals has begun. Shout out to Björn. Björn, he just messaged me. He's like, in? I'm like, I'm in something else.
Maybe. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But commitment.
That does tell us that I believe the lower semifinals is starting, which means hey, we can catch it later on.
Yeah, we could potentially catch it later on. At least jump in mid-series, as Björn has taken out Hero 2-1, and the bracket isn't updated yet. But I'm getting word that Cure actually beat Shin, and so it is a TBT semifinal, and potentially a TBT Grand Finals. We'll see. We'll see if Dark can stop that.
Yeah, we'll see if that can be stopped. Again, big results from Björn already here in this tournament, as Hero is usually the Protoss representative. He's usually the champion of these events, but alas, his run has ended short, and we will instead have a Terran or a Zerg.
Indeed. When was the last time we had TBT finals in the ESL Open Cup?
It's been a couple of months.
It's been a couple of months, try years. I think probably back when Gumiho and Cure were still active at the same time in the ESL Open Cups, but yeah, regardless, we're going to be concluding actually this best of 3 semifinals here on Elkion. Elkion, a Cyclone. And over here in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, starting all the way in the bottom left, we have our red Zerg player coming out from the land of Korea. He is, of course, going to be representing Talon Esports, not Gosu Crew, or just... Oh, yeah, I think that's Gosu Crew. I think he's still part of that crew, in a sense, but he is representing Talon Esports. We have Dark.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner, going for 2 ranks Reaper, we have the Chinese Terran player, the blue Terran representing Weibo Gaming. It is Oliveira.
Good old Björn build. Making a bit of a resurgence in recent weeks.
Yeah, post I am Katowice, this has been rising in popularity. Not every game, but like they sprinkled in, the Terran players, whether it's Björn, Cure, Maru, Oliveira, Clem, once in a best of series, they do enjoy going for the 2-rank Reaper.
Oh yeah. Yeah, very... I don't want to say it's contingent on your control or your ability to control, because you can definitely still get results with it, even if you aren't great at microing your Reapers. But if you get exponentially, the results that you get from this build scale exponentially with how good your control is.
And you don't get much
and
better
a player
than...
like Oliveira, Yeah, a player like Oliveira, that's got to be at the absolute highest of tiers.
Yeah, exactly. You've got like Beyond at the top, but you've got many others just behind him. Oliveira is one of them, and we'll see what we can get done with these initial Reapers. Now, with 2-Max Reaper, this is not an all-in. As you can see, we're expanding. This is designed to contain the Zerg player and to try to get some economic damage done. We do force out 6 Lings rotating around. We do get eyes on the third base, and we don't have additional Reapers on the way, so it looks like Dark may be able to get away with this greed. I believe 3 Reapers in total. I'm not too sure if that's going to be enough to force a cancel. It's going to be close.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we have Lings out already. Ling speed not quite here yet, so Dark, we can see him being a bit more conservative, a bit more safe with his Lings. Doesn't want to get kited by these Reapers. And that hatch is actually getting a little bit low.
It is getting
I think
low.
the math is in Dark's favor.
Yeah, like the ideal for here is that Oliveira, he's looking to cancel. He hopes to cancel this base to contain on 2 bases. That's the goal of 2-Max Reaper. It looks like he will. Okay, he will force a cancel. So far, very nicely done by Oliveira. Dark, unable to save it, just a little bit greedy. And with that, Oliveira, suddenly his opener has been worthwhile.
Just like so. Yeah, he himself setting up his third CC much quicker than Dark's third hatch. He's also setting himself very safely back at home, getting his add-ons, getting his starport swapped around an add-on here and there with the factory, and now he's getting into helium production. So yeah, these Lings are not going to pose a threat to him.
Yeah, exactly. So we come in for another cancel, but the Lings are going to surround. The Reapers are going to be cleaned up. Nice setup here by Dark as 2 of them get into the main, but Queens are in position. The Reapers are shut down, and we do not scout the follow-up. That is a very fast Roach Warren.
Very fast indeed. I'm not gonna lie, Light, I was kind of rooting for those Reapers after they broke out of the surround with a KDA charge, but yeah, they will get taken out. They don't scout the Roach Warren, but Oliveira, he knows that since he hasn't been able to get a full scout on what Dark is up to, he's gonna play things safe. He is getting a Banshee with the starport, and he's not rallying across the map just yet.
Yeah, not quite yet here, as again with this Banshee, as you mentioned, is going to be ideal against Roach heavy play, which is what Dark is working towards. Dark is droning, but we'll keep an eye on when and where we cut saturation. As a reminder, last game, Dark, he cut workers at 64, that is 3 base saturation, and then just went all in with Roach Ravager, so that could be a similar thing here coming into game 3.
Yeah, definitely an option for him. Only 1 Banshee, which can be a little bit of a risk here for Oliveira. He is sending it across the map, though, and I believe... Oh, no, I was going to say I believe he's working on tanks back at home, but that's a reactor on the factory.
Yeah, we're setting up for our bio transition, 0 tank production. I mean, again, Oliveira doesn't know. He hasn't seen the Roach Warren, doesn't know what's exactly coming his way. Now, thankfully, Dark is droning. He's only making a safety amount of roaches, which means this Banshee may be able to get a read on what is going on. The Banshee has arrived. There is no cloak. There has been no investment there into the cloak as an upgrade, so we have to be very careful with that Banshee. How we move
Additional supply depots required.
Yeah, I believe he was researching it, but then canceled it, so it was a fake-out research.
Oh.
That is a Spire coming down from Dark.
Okay. Okay.
We're going back into Mudas? That,
Yeah, that's not quite what I was expecting here. We're taking all 6 gases, we throw down the Spire here, getting into Mutatech of all things. So we are not doubling down into Roaches, we're going to be preserving as much gas as possible for a Muta switch. Bold move by Dark. Bold move.
very bold move. Very high risk, but potentially very high reward as well. I mean, Dark has had map control for most of this game. Oliveira moving across the map with his Viking. Also a pretty risky maneuver, but I don't think he's going to be actually, diving into the main base or even the natural base to scout this. So surprise mutas popping up across the map when Oliveira hasn't set up any missile turrets or anything like that. That can be devastating.
It really could be. Like, it's very high risk, high reward, and then we go 8 mutas are on the way for Dark. I'm curious what his upgrade is going to be invested into as he goes double Evo chamber. He has roach speed, and he is making more roaches. This is a very gas-intensive style here for Dark, as Carapace is now on the way. We do see our initial move out here from Oliveira, but again, he still has no eyes on the Spire tech.
That he does not. Muta Roach, that takes you back.
It's been a while. And okay, it's going to be melee as the upgrade. So roaches initially, but then we're going to be switching into Ling Bane. Roaches are going to be revealed as the army's going to be forced back. At the same time, mutas, they skirt around the edge. They head towards the left-hand side.
Yeah, Dark. doesn't reveal his hand just yet. I mean, the Banshee saw these Mutalisks, but I'm not sure Oliveira did.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did. He's still active on the map, and the Mutas, they have arrived. Marines are actually in position. They're going to be able to fend this off for now, and they pick off 2 Mutas. Oh my god.
Yeah, produce a trade. Is that 3 Mutas?
Yeah.
3 Mutas get taken out, and no worker damage just yet. This is probably as good of a defense as Oliveira could have gotten without considering just how... yeah, without scouting.
As we oh my god, we almost catch the Mutas once again. Very fortunate defense here out of Oliveira. He was in position. He bleeds out 2 SCVs for 3 Mutas. That was totally worth it. And now we can see Dark trying to work towards Ling Bane. Balin has just finished. Balin's speed is nowhere near being done. I want to give the edge to Oliveira as he's pushing out.
Yeah, I mean, he absolutely 100% has a better army. Without a doubt right now. He's got so much bio, he's got tanks behind all of this, and Dark doesn't have any Banelings, doesn't have any splash. He has a handful of Mutas, and Mutas are not that good of a sustained fighting unit to begin with.
Yeah, Dark is in trouble. The Mutas have to get more damage done. Banelings are waddling in, but again, they're waddling. They're slow Banes.
They are slow Banes. They will barely connect with some of the army. Tanks do siege up just in the nick of time. And I don't see Dark pushing this back anytime soon.
Yeah, Dark, he's not going to be able to defend against this. We're pushing into the 3rd base. Again, it was a risky move. It was a crazy move to go Roaches into Mutas, then into Ling Bane. And clearly the Mutas, they did not do good enough. They did not get enough damage done. They did not buy enough time. And Oliveira, he's going for the kill.
GG is called. Oliveira will take that series 2-1. We'll make it to the grand finals in... a bit of a cheeky TVT. Whew, boy.
GG, well played. That was a wild game there from Dark to try to tech switch the way that he did. Again, to invest so heavily into 8 Mutas, to invest into that Spire, it needs to get some damage done. And we saw that it got 2 SCVs. It got completely shut down. The Mutas did basically nothing. And that meant that because we invested into those Mutas, no Banelings, or no Speed Banes, no Ravagers either, right? There was 0 splash damage for the Zerg player, just Slings, Slow Banes, and Roaches, and that just was not good enough.
That it really was not. It was a very, very, very high-risk plan coming out here from Dark, and it would have reaped the highest of rewards if not for the fact that, you know, the Ricks didn't work out for him.
Yeah. Yeah, in the end, did not quite work out there. And I mean, shout out to Oliveira to push when he did, right? Because it wasn't just the fact that the Mutas didn't do enough damage. It's as soon as the Mutas were revealed, as soon as the Mutas were defended against, we move out. Immediately, Oliveira, he went for the kill. He went for the move out. He recognized how vulnerable Dark must be for investing into these Mutas, and he knew there was a window that he could move out in, and he was able to just barely squeeze on through and snowball out of control. GG.
GG.